Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people conform to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. But first, thank you for subscribing to the channel and for all those likes. Today we have 3 great stories, so let's get right into them, shall we? The first story is called Okay, I Quit. This was back in 2018. I was trying to find a job and was getting desperate. I ended up getting a temporary job at a call center that did tech support for pharma sales reps. The first 6 months were fine. My contract kept getting renewed and it was going fine. They even onboarded a new client and I got to know them and they were wonderful. I ended up having a good relationship with them. As time went on, things were going a bit south. Things that we normally would not do, we ended up doing. As an example, doing hardware replacements over the phone, and we were bending over backward for the first client. The reason why was because contract negotiations were coming up, so they were trying to make themselves look good. So much so that the second client was going to the wayside. So I was one of the few who handled the tech tickets for the second client. They were very appreciative. Not to mention, at this time layoffs happened to some of the best people, and the trainer who trained me was also laid off. I never got told why. At my 1-year mark at the company, a user who has been known to fry laptops called in. His hard drive had failed and he wanted it fixed. He was told he would need to send a laptop in, but he did not want to. The agent sent him a hard drive and told him that someone would walk him through it. Background on this guy, he tried other laptops doing this cause he wouldn't listen, and that agent always got fired. My boss told me I would need to be the one to do it, and I expressed concerns and told him I did not feel comfortable doing it. He told me to try and it will go fine. I told him no way was I doing it. He then said I would need to do it or quit my job. I told him fine, I quit. He then tried to talk to me about it and I shut it down. I told him I was quitting and I turned in my company stuff. The second client reached out to me a week later asking what happened. So I told them the truth. What I did not realize was that they were also in contract negotiations, so they pulled their contract and went to another outsourcer. So did the first company, as I found out later. That first company was one of their bigger clients, so losing that hurt them. I don't know what really happened to anyone after that. The next story is called We Can't Wait. I work at a printing hub as a print and copy expert, working with the machines to get them to print, setting up files and quality checking things before they come out. It's a pretty laid-back job and I really enjoy the technical side of it, not so much my coworkers however. Don't get me wrong, I have no doubt they are good people, but I feel that they have settled into the job a little too much and every little change gets them riled up. And then there's my manager, Kay, who is a good person at heart, but recently stress has been causing her to take it out on the employees. I stick with it because up until now she has been good. She at least deserves for me to stick through a stressful moment, especially coming into holiday season. 3 days ago I was working with a big color machine printer. A rather large job came in for 200 books. This particular job was a rush order and needed to get out the same day, and the value of the job exceeded over $2,000. It was also a very important client I had worked with in the past, so I wanted to be extra sure everything was okay. When I printed my proof and leafed through the booklet however, I noticed rectangular boxes where text should have been. This is normally caused by our computers or printers missing the font that the customer had used, and I suspect they used a different font than they normally use for their Halloween season. Please people, provide your print studios with PDFs, not Word documents. So I called up the customer to figure out the font they needed. No answer. The thing was that this order needed to start printing immediately in order to reach the deadline, unless I dedicate both color printers we have to print the order. Which is actually not recommended as the color calibration are different on both printers for some reason. I emailed the customer and put the order on hold. I knew the customer would want those fonts. Later on, my manager, who we will call Kay, asked me about why the order was still on hold, and I explained that the file was not correct. I even brought up the file and showed her. She agreed that the file was incorrect, however she insisted on printing the order anyway. The order is a rush job, and they absolutely need that order immediately. I understand that, but the file is wrong. If we produce the file and the customer rejects it, then we are out the money to produce the job. SLA is more important than a quality job. We won't get money if we fail to deliver on time. I was silently reminding myself that SLA includes quality. Okay, I have dealt with this client before. I know they will reject this. I am fairly certain they would prefer waiting a day to get their stuff rather than receiving something they can't use. Just print the order anyways. I was dying inside. Yes, Kay. So this is funny, because last week Kay got after me about the exact opposite situation. There was an order we couldn't do correctly because our machines were dumping toner on the files. I assured Kay that I was certain the customer wouldn't mind the toner dump, but she said I wasn't thinking of the customer. I was thinking of the customer, as I was the customer. Now I am thinking about the customer and being told to ignore that. Okay, sure. So I printed the order, all $2,000 worth of it. It was a massive ordeal, which I knew was all going into the trash, but I did what Kay asked. Before I left for the day, I checked our business email and saw that the client didn't email us back. I also tried calling again and no response. I took one of the books with me and left for the day. Rather than going straight home, I stopped at the business I knew would be selling or giving out what we were producing, since it was on the way, and showed the cashier. The cashier was absolutely horrified and immediately contacted the manager, who was out for the day. The employee thanked me for going out of my way to inform them and gave me some store credit, which I used on some paintbrushes for minis. Oh yeah, did I mention this place was one of the local gaming stores I started going to? I knew those booklets weren't supposed to look like that. The fallout didn't happen until today. The order was completely thrown out and we were forced to redo the entire thing at no charge. $2,000 down the drain. Kay, for the first time I can recall, tried to throw me under the bus when head office asked us what happened. But my coworkers supported me and I pointed out on the job ticket that I had actually failed the quality check. I had no idea how that order went to shipping. The last story is called Just Do As I Say. I am 17 years old and work at a place that helps people sort their trash. I've worked there for somewhere between 3 and 4 months, but I have gotten close to a lot of my coworkers. My job is mainly to guide our customers to the right places to sort their trash. It was a Saturday around 1 PM and I had 3 hours left on my shift. I am standing and waiting to help customers when the prick comes up to me. How can I help you? Can I take this to the dump ground? For context, the dump ground is a place where those who come with a lot of bricks and concrete can dump it instead of lifting it into a container. Can I see what you have? Prick then takes me to his car where I inspect the contents of it. When we look at items, we must make sure there aren't glazed tiles or anything wrong with the things they bring. So I say, sorry sir, but you must take those glazed tiles over to ceramics and porcelain because they are glazed. Why does that matter? Can't I just dump it off? Sir, I am telling you that you must put it in 2 different places or else it isn't sorted according to the rules. That doesn't matter, it is practically the same thing. No sir, it isn't. And he cuts me off mid-sentence. I am calling headquarters. After that he just went back to his car and drove off. I just stood there confused, but as it happens a lot I just went back to work. Later, I tell my coworkers about the man as we are having a coffee break. I don't drink coffee, but sit there and talk with them. When I told them about it, we all just laughed. Then, 5 minutes later, our company phone rings and my coworker picks it up. Why did we just get a call from Prick that says you wouldn't let him dump off his trash? Well, OP just told me about it and it was because he had glazed tiles and didn't listen to reason and wouldn't drop it off at the right place. Well, we don't care. Why does that little amount matter? Well, if we let everyone drop things off at the wrong place, there will be huge fees and piles of extra work when it isn't sorted as it should be. Don't tell me about fees, just let him drop it off. So, are you telling us just not to care and break corporate rules? Just do as I tell you. And with that, the boss hangs up. The coworker tells me and the other coworker about their phone call. So we make up a plan. I mean, if the boss tells us to just let people sort it wrong then, of course we should just listen, right? And so we did. From then on, we gave about 0% fricks about that section of the dumping grounds. Later on the same day, around 3 PM, Prick comes back and talks to my other coworker. So, is there any problem with me dumping this off? It was the same load as the first time. The coworker was smiling and said, no sir, you just go right ahead and dump it off. Haha, I said I would call your boss and he agreed with me, and you can't do anything about it. After that he just walked off, dumped his stuff on the dump grounds and left. Now this is still going on and we continue to maliciously comply, which means that the company keeps getting piles of fees and losing money at a steady rate. We have estimated the disruption and sorting to cost them a good few $1,000s at least each month in labor and fees. And with that we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.